Hi, this is Alice Wheaton again, and today we're going to talk about it's actually going to be a fairly quick webinar this time, and because I'm going to be talking about the 3 P's of business planning. And of course, when we start to do some business planning, it's because that there has been some strategy, that's something new that's come up. It might be that, for instance, you own a shoe shop in a mall, and suddenly 2 new shoe stores move in. What are you going to do about that? Well, then there's been a change. And so given that there's a change, then you need to do something new. And that's what I mean by business strategy. And the strategy is almost always caused by there being a change. Why now? What now? So your process supports your strategy. Your process is what has to be done to fulfill the plan. Who will be involved? What resources will be needed? And if you have a distributed process, you're going to drop some seeds and some will grow. You're going to have a vertical process, and you're going to specifically decide what seeds are going to be dropped where. You're going to have what new business, what new clients do you want from those clients? New business do you want from those clients? And as you know, there's 3 kinds of sources of clients. There's strangers getting new business from new clients. Then there's keepers, the clients that you already have, getting new business from them. And the third one is getting business from past clients. So you have your strategy, you have your process. The process is all about the what has to be done. Now it is about the protocol. That's the hardest part. There's lots of binders with beautiful, beautiful strategic plans sitting in leaders' bookshelf, because it's the tactics that are the hardest to do. So if you have a plan to increase your business by 42% this year, or to increase the client satisfaction rate from 89% to 97%, that's the long goal. That's the long game, as I say it. But then there's a short game. The short game is what are you going to do to get there? If you have an 86% client satisfaction right now, what are you going to do in order to increase that? So those are your tactics. And so few people, when they're creating a strategic plan, they understand why they want to do. They understand the process, which is the what they want to do, but they don't take the effort to define the how are we going to do it. When I was with Xerox, I had a wonderful sales manager. His name was Bill Irwin. And he had the what we were going to do measured every single day. He did a simple thing. He had, I think, 9 people on the sales team, and he had 1 flip chart started at the beginning of the month. Whoever sold a copier would write their name, the copier name, and the number of points, and slash the cumulative points that month that they had earned. So let's say I remember 3107 was worth 4 points. So every sales rep, when we came in, we could look up and down and see, I would look and say, Alice, 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 Alice. I would say, oh, I've sold. I knew my budget was 121 points. And by mid-month, I might have sold 70 points. Well, that told me, and it told the rest of the team that I was ahead of plan. But more importantly, it told my boss. And another important thing is that it motivated the people, it motivated all of us to have our names on that flip chart as much as possible. And so it was a great month when the flip charts would be one piled on top of the other. And so it's important that when we're having tactics that we have some metrics to go along with those tactics to define them. So the typical business growth is startup. You know, you have a startup and then you grow. And because you're so busy making all the mistakes that we entrepreneurs make, and I wish I could write a book on all the mistakes I made, what happens is that we start up, we grow, we make mistakes. And then we learn from those mistakes and we keep going, or some people just can't and they flounder. So a wonderful book by Michael Gerber called The New Entrepreneur Myth, I think, something like that. Anyway, Michael Gerber, he's a very famous book. So then we have to be in alignment with our success. So Apple, for instance, is in an alignment in that they have 3 products. I think the iPad, the iTablet, and the iPhone. And so what happens is that that's what they sell, and they do very well selling that. They have a great alignment with that. I'm a Samsung fan, love my Samsung Note 3, and now I understand there's a fabulous Note 4 out. And so what happens is that if we want to take business from our competition, we have to be in alignment with what the competition is doing, and then merge ahead. And so BlackBerry is an example of not really getting with the marketplace, not having that touch screen, and their capabilities were so much lower. So they could have all of the strategy they wanted. They could have it compiled in most beautiful binders, but if they didn't have an offering that the buying market wants, then there's not much use. So you have to continue to drive new business. And then you have to sustain success. There is no perfect organization. Each one will try its trade-off. But waiting for business to come to is like waiting for miracles. Miracles are great, but they're so unpredictable. So let's look at this from an organizational point of view. You have your structure of your organization. And the structure of your organization might mean, is it a retail? Is it a scientific company? Is it a new company? Is it like I hear now with Virgin Atlantic, Virgin companies, that there's no longer any specified vacation days. If you want to take a vacation day, you work it out with your team. If you want to take 6 months off, you'll get paid. You work it off with your team. You just make sure that your team is committed to covering you for 6 months, and then the other person can do that. So that's become a different structure in a company that most people work in, but I imagine it gives a lot more creativity and a lot more flexibility. And so the culture of your company makes a huge difference. A lot of companies these days are following somewhat similar in that we're having telecommuters. People work a lot more from home. They have jobs to do, and they get them done. They don't have to have the bosses staring over their shoulder. So as a bit of a review here, we have our plan, which is our strategic plan, and it's powered by the why. We have our process, which is powered by the what. And then we have our protocols. This is what most people don't want to do. That's the how. That's being out there in the trenches and doing it. I want to thank you very much for being with me. I'm personally much more of a tactician than I am a strategic person. I get happy when I'm on phone, when I'm sitting with clients making cold calls, for instance, or when I'm on the phone doing follow-up. But I'm less happy when I'm trying to envision my 5-year plan. Still, it's vitally important. I want to thank you for being with me, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.